two questions. First of all, you told about raising funds also from the capital market. So could you elaborate a little bit how you have raised funds so far? And second point, do you have government guarantee for the products? So how would that have 100% guarantee from the government when you give out a product? Thank you.
Thank you. Raising money from the capital market, we have not started doing that. And when I was making the presentation, I was mentioning the sources of funding, sources that we can get funds to support export credit. We have not been able to go to the capital market to raise funds, but we have plans to that effect, where we should be able to get to the international capital market and raise money on our own. Now, in terms of government guarantees, at this point we are availing commercial lines of credit from other ECS. It's not on the back of any government guarantee, but the government has gotten an approval from African Development Bank to avail about $200 million for NEXIM Bank. That one is going to be guaranteed completely, by the government. But we want a situation going forward where we should be able to use our own balance sheet and be able to access funds instead of continuously working on the government, on our shareholders, to give us money.
Thank you. Other questions? Austria, please.
First of all, I would like to thank NEXIM for the excellent presentation. I have another question on fundraising. It's on the slide 19, where you mentioned the specific NEXIM Act. What does this act regulate concretely? And please also mention in that respect that you revert to external reserves. Could you elaborate on that?
Sorry, you are looking at, it says slide 19.
19, the role of NEXIM, number 4. Is the finance role of NEXIM number 4?
Okay, yes. Our act has enabled us to raise funds in foreign currency from other ECS, from other regulatory agencies, as well as raise money from the external reserves. But since the setup of the bank, almost 23 years, we have not been allowed to borrow from the external reserves, of the country. But we have been borrowing from other exim banks. As we speak now, I think we are borrowed from about three or four, and negotiations are ongoing for some of the lines, that we want to avail from other ECS.
We'd like to thank NEXIM very much for being here today and making such a comprehensive proposal. We very much appreciate that. We just had a question regarding, you said that you've recently put in place your sustainable banking principles, which include consideration of environmental and social risks. And we were just wondering whether, as you developed that proposal, you had taken the ECG common approaches into consideration.
We're actually working with IFC on this issue, so we have covered almost all the sectors.
Thank you. The Netherlands, please.
Thank you. And thank you for your elaborate presentation. It was very extensive, a lot of information at a time. As already mentioned by the chair, one of the things we highly value is the being complementary to the market. My question in this respect is how do you distinguish between which things are marketable and which are not?
Thank you very much for that question. Based on the mandate of the bank, we're able to distinguish. Now, let me explain it issue. When we have to refinance a facility from a commercial bank, the credit appraiser, everything about that credit is enforced. Now, we have to determine that that particular credit falls in line with the mandate of the bank before we can finance it. So we have a way of it, because we cannot, anything that has to do with oil, we cannot fund anything that has to do with oil. So we must be sure that this particular credit is for non-oil.
Thank you. Other questions? I'd like to perhaps also ask a question as regarding your export credit insurance program, or the ECOWAS trade support facility, where you cover also buyer's credits, I understand. What type of products do you finance or cover under this protocol?
The products we are looking at, we have determined about 4 sectors, the non-oil sector that we are focusing on. That is the manufacturing, agriculture, especially agro-processing, because our desire is to ensure that we stop export of raw commodities. There must be some kind of value addition at any point in time. And then the people that are engaged in mining, as well as transportation, which is one of the things that we are doing on transportation and tourism. If a Nigerian wants to set up a small hotel, for instance, in any of the member states of ECOWAS, we believe that it's something that we can support. There has been a lot of integration when it comes to issues of creative entertainment industry, where you find Nigerian actors and Ghanaian actors or people from Canada working together to produce a film. These are activities that we fund, because we believe that they have some impact both on the economy of Nigeria and the ECOWAS region at large.
Okay, thank you very much. German, please.
Thank you again for this comprehensive presentation. So I just wanted to add a question to Pekka's question. If I'm not mistaken, the focus on export credit and guarantees and insurances lies on short-term business? Or
we are just at the rudimentary stage for now. That is where we are looking at the short. But it's not only short, we're also looking at the medium term. Because our definition of the medium term is anything that is above 2 years. It falls within the medium term. And we have issued some guarantees and on a medium term basis. But we're looking at longer term. The longer term is we return to the government that there are some funds, there are some development funds that the government needs to make available. And once those development funds are made available, it will be very easy for us to leverage on those funds and be able to issue guarantees on a longer term basis than what we're doing now. We are very excited with the credit insurance because we believe that it is an important tool that can create market access for Nigerian exporters. Once we follow them with those risk mitigating instruments, you can be assured that some of the risks that they are going to face, are going to that one too, we are looking at it from a longer term point of view too.
Thank you very much. Any other Republic check, please?
I would be just curious, because you, first thank you for interesting presentation, but because you are Exim Bank and some Exim banks here have in-house insurance and financing as well. Are you allowed to insure your own financing products, or how the things are treated? Could you elaborate a little bit how it is? Thank you.
What has happened in Nigeria is that we have not been able to separate the Exim Bank from the credit insurance. In most of the economies, like you talk about China, they have Exim Bank of China, and then they have Sunashore. If you talk about India, they have Exim Bank of India, and then they have their export credit guarantee. But in the case of Nigeria, we are here to separate these two functions. So we are still operating as one. So it's not as if we insure our product per se, no. But within the credit insurance, we have series of products, that we are offering. That is why one will begin to get confused. Why should an Exim Bank be issuing credit insurance? The basic fact is that we are here to separate the two functions.
Thank you. I think you have a lot of roles, and I don't know if they need to be separated. That is an issue you probably will be talking in the future. Certainly, like a development bank on one side, an export-import bank one side, a credit insurer one side, and we have lots of various roles. I understand in NEXIM. It's very interesting. Also, let's say domestic financing support for SMEs, for instance, and companies like that. So it's a combination of various roles. Other questions? I think I can see no other flags raising, so I think you have given us a really good presentation and ample information about your systems and approaches to exit credit issues. And I thank you very much for coming here and giving us this presentation. Your request will be discussed later in our meetings. And the Secretariat will inform Nigeria of the member's decision becoming an invitee later on in the course of time. But at the same time, I invite you to remain for the remainder of this week, plenary meetings, the ECG, which continues, and then also the participants' meeting. So you are welcome to observe for this time at least here. Thank you once again for coming here.
Thank you.
Okay, and now I will have